Who would be a Wolves fan, eh?
On goes Bull. Speedball might yet win it here for Wolves. Flash in the shot. What a goal!
Good evening, Wolves fans across the globe. It's Little Dan here with the latest Wolves Fancast match preview. We're back for the 13th season. Thanks for joining us this evening. Thanks for continuing to follow us across all our social media channels. Tonight, I've got with me Lukey T, Jeffo, and we've got a new guest with us tonight. You'll find him at Wolves Football Shirts across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Got one of the most decent shirt collections going at the moment on social media behind the kit father himself, Steve Plant. Eddie, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Bit of an iffy stomach. I had a Greg's Magic bag earlier, and there was a bit of a dodgy tuna baguette. So, other than that, I'm doing okay.
That's it. Just give the viewers and listeners just a brief introduction to yourself. Obviously, you're based in Bristol. How did you come about being a Wolves fan?
Yeah. So my dad, funnily enough, was a Glory supporter back in the. He grew up in the 50s, 60s, sort of Stan Cullis, Billy Wright era, and he grew up in Bradford. So he picked up whatever your 442 magazine and started following Wolves, and then stuck with them all through the dark days in the 80s under sort of Batty brothers and the administration, all that kind of stuff, and moved down to Exeter. And that's where I was born, and then used to drive up from Exeter to Wolverhampton, like 5 hour there and back again, and raised me and my brother as Wolves fans, so Wolves fans for life. And yeah, I'm a shirt collector, been collecting seriously for about 3 or 4 years now. And yeah, shout out to Steve Plant as well. Some of the fine shirts behind are purchased from him, as you say. Great collector, lovely bloke.
It is a massive collection. It's an impressive Instagram page. If you can take your time to view it, people. Got a few comments already. Aaron Morton, Luke, my old mucker Tomo.
Yes, Rebo.
And then we've got Dean.
Primary school with him, man. Good lad.
Dean Mars and evening, gents. That jacket, Danny boy. I mean, it's an impressive jacket. I can't get enough of wearing it. But Dean, I knew Eddie was coming on tonight, and I couldn't wear just any old Wolves shirt. I had to try and raise my game tonight. That's why I've done that. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. If you've not heard the sort of latest news that's been going about today, the biggest rumour so far is apparently that Everton have been linked to our captain, Leeds legend, Conor Cody. Massive part of what the Falcon era has been about, leading our back three since Nuno joined. Guys, what was your sort of thoughts on the news today? I'll come to you first, Luke. What's your thoughts on Conor Cody being linked to Everton? What's your thoughts on it maybe being a loan?
I think it's a mad one, to be fair. I wasn't expecting Cody's name to be rumoured about this summer. A loan deal makes no sense either. How can you loan out your captain? You either keep him or you sell him. You can't loan out your captain. It's just mental. But if with the World Cup coming up, he's going to want minutes, isn't he? And maybe the conversation's been had where he's not going to get many minutes for us next season because we're going to play a back four. And if we do play a back four, as nice as Cody is, because he's got to be the nicest bloke in the world, I don't think he's at that level for us to play in a back four.
What's your opinions on that, Jeff? Is he, due to his sort of service and professionalism, leadership, has he earned the right to have a go as a centre back in a four?
I think from what we've seen, I don't think it's going to work for him as a four. But I think I've said previously in WhatsApp groups and stuff like that I think he deserves at least 12 months just through the transition, to be part of it, because he is a leader. We've lost a lot of leaders this summer. We've lost Sace, we've lost Ruddy, who were anchors and stalwarts of the dressing room, and have always been people there who've G'd players up, even if they haven't been playing. There've been positive influences there. So to get rid of him and on loan as well, like you said, Luke, it doesn't make sense. It just baffles that you would let essentially who going into the season probably more of a club captain role. If he's not going to get the minutes, why would you loan him out? It doesn't make sense. And he's got a contract here till at least 3 more years. I think it's 2025. So it doesn't make sense to let him go and play for somebody else in the Premier League.
What? Forget about Milan. What sort of fee should Wolves be commanding, Eddie? Do you think?
Well, it's a really good question. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, he's with the position we have with him in the club. You know, as you say, he's as Jeffer was saying. You know, he's a leader. He's a club captain. You think about all the praise that's been lumped on him by Southgate and the England squad. You know, obviously he didn't get any minutes at the Euros, but you know he's an influential figure, and you know, we don't want another Traore on our hands. We don't want to sort of loan him out and then get him back again. I want to keep him. I don't want to put a figure out there. I'm saying he should stay.
It's bold. I think it's a really difficult situation for all parties, isn't it? Really, because nobody wants him to leave, but he's really entitled to minutes, isn't he, in order to seal his place in that World Cup squad?
I think if we got 35, 40 mil for him, let him go.
I mean, do you genuinely think that's a reasonable and expectable fee? Respectable fee? I mean, obviously, you've got the English premium. He's been obviously massive for us, but unless a club's going to sort of change their system to fit him in, is anyone really going to spend that sort of money on him?
I think that's the worrying part.
No,
is that he doesn't have versatility, does he?
No.
I just think you just said he's an England international. How many England internationals go for 15? Well, current England internationals that are relevant at the moment. What would the going rate be for that squad? You wouldn't have anyone under sort of 20 mil. I wouldn't afford.
Just being tongue in cheek for a second. Do you know how many goals Jack Grealish has scored for England?
0.
Is it 0? Has he got 1? Because all I'm saying is, if Cody's got more than Jack Grealish and they sold him for 100 million, you know what I mean? You can think what you want from that statement.
It's fair.
So 125 mil.
The one I would have compared him to is how much did Dan Burn go from Brighton to Newcastle?
How much did he go for?
Yeah. That was about 30, wasn't it? That was around about that.
And he's ever played for England.
And yeah.
Well, exactly. Now it's exactly.
So there you go. That's why I think 35, 40 mil really
is a reasonable fee in this market.
I got to double check that one, but yeah.
Eddie's primed to say something here. I can tell.
Well, I mean, the thing with Cody is, I mean, it's more, isn't it, than his playing is what he gives to you. You know, he's the face of the club. You know, he's the link as well. I feel like when you watch those, you know, all the pre-game interviews and all the training sessions, you know, he's there holding everything together. He's a link between, you know, the Portuguese players, the English players, you know, and he's providing that, the sort of glue that holds everything together. And I think it would be a huge loss. You know, I know Neves was, you know, the youngest captain in the Champions League for Porto at 18. You know, we've obviously signed Collins, who was Stoke's youngest captain at age 18. You know, we've got some leaders in the team, but I don't think they bring what Cody brings.
Ethan L in the comments section saying we should be commanding a fee which is more than what Man United paid for Harry Maguire. It's a bold statement, but I can't disagree with it. Obviously, there's been quite a few striker links in the Wolves transfer world today. Missy Batshuayi from Chelsea, and yesterday, South Korean striker Hwang Woo-jo, I believe, we'll go with that pronouncement, from Bordeaux. Apparently, Wolves had placed a bid of around 3 million. Bordeaux have rejected that, demanding a fee of 6 to 7. Any sort of thoughts on Batshuayi, Jeffo? I know he's been around for quite a bit. He had a brief loan spell at Crystal Palace, and I'm not sure whether it was last season or the season before. But apart from his decent early start and his early career in Belgium, he hasn't really set the world on fire, has he?
No, he's been quite almost like a 1 in 3 striker. But I think as a player, I think he'd work well at Wolves. I think he's what we need. He plays well with his back to goal. And he's good in the 18-yard box, which is nice. I mean, he played in Turkey last year, and I think he got 1 in 3. I think it was 15 in 35, something around that sort of figure. So he can score goals. He got experience in the Premier League. It's a relatively cheap way of doing things. If we can get him on loan from Chelsea, and they're paying some of the wages as well, which is what some of the reports are saying, then I don't see why we shouldn't take a risk on something so something without risk in terms of what we're looking at.
As soon as
really
he
pay
came
off.
out saying that Chelsea may pay part of his wage, Jeff Sheik definitely got a semi, didn't he?
Why would we sign a striker though, who's not going to benefit us off the field? Because that's what Falson want. They want the shirt sales, don't they?
Well, you
That's
have
why for
mentioned
me
that,
makes
yeah.
too much sense. I think it would be a fantastic signing.
Yeah.
If
What's
we
your
could get him
opinions on Batsman, Eddie?
Yeah, I mean, as Jeffer was saying, I think he got 14, 15 for Besiktas last season. And, talk about a 1 in 3 striker. Well, when was the last time we had a 1 in 3 striker? Last season we scored 38 goals in 38 games. That was the third lowest in the Premier League. We'd kill for a 1 in 3 striker. That is enough at the moment. We'll take it.
Most definitely. I mean, it's just embarrassing, isn't it? 38 league goals last season. We lost more games than Burnley last season. How we finished 10th with those two stats is mad.
Jose Sarr deserves the keys to
Got Ballon d'Or, that lad deserves.
Yeah.
Hugh Roberts in the comments section. Is there a realistic chance Catrone could get another chance? Isn't he on 63 grand a week? I mean, can I take the floor with this one?
That's all you. That's all you, man.
It's a straight no, Hugh. We need to get him off the wage books. Just pay for his engagement party and his wedding, and just get him off the wage books. He's not fit to wear a Wall shirt. He'll never be fit to wear a Wall shirt. Any footballer can run around, but if he's not good technically, he's not good enough for Wolves. Ed Marshall in the comments. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ed. Batshuayi is a perfect second string striker for me. If Raul comes back, he's happy being a backup striker and doesn't seem to upset the apple cart. It's a no-brainer, isn't it, Batshuayi? If we can get him and Chelsea are willing to agree a fee, pay part of his wage, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, we were also linked to the South Korean Hwang Lee-jo from Bordeaux. Luke, you're sort of deep into a Football Manager save at the moment, and you've sent us a quick screenshot of his stats. What do you actually make of his stats here? It's sort of in his current season, he's still at that 1 in 3. Season before, he scored 9 in 29, 12 in 30 the season before. If Wolves can get a striker with those sort of stats for less than 10 million in today's market, it's another no-brainer, especially when you're throwing the shirt sales on top, isn't it?
Do you know what? It would represent decent value for money. He's not pulling up any trees, but he just looks like an average to decent mid-table striker. And that's it. He ain't going to come and get 20 goals in a season. He's just one of them. All right, if we can get 28 games out of him, hopefully he can get us sort of like 8 or 9 goals, maybe 12 at a push.
Was there any sort of stats via that FB ref earlier, Jeffo, that you saw about Hwang Lee-jo that was worth noting?
Not particularly. I mean, it's like I say, 1 in 3 is where we're looking, and his percentile stuff is not great, actually, to be honest. But I think if we look at it, it's a person who needs to come in, play some games for one season. I think next season is, I'm going to put it out there early, but next season is Fabio's season. He started so well at Anderlecht. He played really well against it out. If you can get in there, get the goal scoring record going, 20, 25 goals this season, I think that's all the confidence he'll need to bounce back. And I think that's where we'll be looking next year is Fabio and then somebody to support him. So Hwang from Bordeaux or, Batshuayi, if he comes and does well and stays here long term, they're good second string options. So I think that's where we need to be looking.
Massive season for Fabio Silva, isn't it, Jeff? He's actually been featuring in a game for Anderlecht tonight. What have you made of his performance? Yeah,
he played really well. I know it's against an Estonian team, so it's going to be a little bit easier. But he scored a very good goal, nice little chip, and he dropping into space, picking up the ball, passing it off well. He's rotating really well into that side, and he just looks like he's settled. And weirdly enough, they're making such a big deal of him. During the halftime show, they basically showed like all the the stuff around like his signing day, and they really will make it. So we'll do all this for you. We'll make you feel at home. We'll look after you. Your parents need anything, you need anything, just let me know, and we'll sort it out. We'll make everything easy for you. And that it's almost like Ronaldo going to Man United, Fabio Silva going to Anderlecht. It just looked special. So hopefully he'll really become the man that he needs to be in this season, and it'll benefit us going forward.
How much effort would you put in, Luke, to help Fabio Silva's mum if she asked?
I'll just make her feel welcome and at home, mate. You know,
if she ever needs to get anything off her chest, you can. I'm all for it. Hugh Roberts says, thanks for the comments in regards to Patrick Cutrone. Is Patrick Cutrone the worst signing since Robert Taylor? What's your thoughts on that, Eddie?
Well, I mean, he had his chance, didn't he? Well, more than one. He's had a few chances. He obviously came with us to the pre-season. He didn't make the cut, didn't make the tour, didn't get to Spain, didn't get to Portugal. You know, he's not good enough. And just going back to Fabio as well, I think it's. I mean, people have said it, haven't they? But I mean, it's really important to remember that he was how old? 17 when we bought him. He's 19 now. Raul Jimenez didn't turn professional for Club America until he was 19. So, he was still in the youth team up until that point. So Fabio's just had such a lot of the spotlight on him. And I mean, I know he's already done an interview talking about his transfer fee, how he tries to forget about it, but hopefully this will be just a bit of headspace for him. Confidence building. We saw him get a great goal already in a game for them. So fingers crossed he just, like Jeffo says, really pushes on this year and comes back with a long-term aim of being our starting striker possibly next year.
The defending for his goal against, I think it was Ostend, wasn't the greatest, was it? But an absolutely great strike, Jeffo. Something that if you're ever coaching kids, you want to use that as an example, don't you?
Yeah, it's just technique, and he takes his time, gets his head up, and looks for the corner, which is exactly what you want to be teaching, say, kids at that age as well. When even when you're starting at the very youngest of kids, you want to be teaching them that finding the corner and its placement over power. And the finish today in the game against Paida or something, I'm not sure how I pronounce it, the Estonian side. He's just done a little dink over the goalkeeper. He's not forced anything. It's just technique. It's beautiful. That's what we want to see from him going forward, which is just nice. It's nice that he's calm and collected when he's playing the game now, which is what we probably didn't see last season. He looked a little bit rash. He was taking his chances a little bit too quick.
I think it's a massive season, isn't it, for him, Luke? But Eddie mentioned headspace, but I think just another great thing for Fabio for his loan spell with Anderlecht, he's going to get regular chances during the 90 minutes, isn't he, Luke? Which has been short for all of our strikers for a good few years now.
Definitely, and I think with Fabio, he just looks like a natural goal scorer. He looks like a finisher. So give him chances, he's going to get goals. He's that sort of striker. It's a massive season for him, and I hope he absolutely smashes it over there. I'd love him to come back with 32 goals in all competitions under his belt, even if he got 20, even if he got 15, you know what I mean? Just an half-decent season just to boost his confidence a bit and shut some of the haters up. But thankfully, most of the haters aren't Wolves fans, and it's just idiots who follow football who are just fixated with transfer values.
Imagine if he just sort of done a prime R9 and took Anderlecht to was it Europa Conference League or something?
Yeah.
Imagine if he took them all the way, prime R9, comes back on the back of a 40-goal season. Thank you, Raul. We're sending you back to Club America.
Yeah. He's going to get minutes. I mean, they've got six games in 3 weeks, and then they've got a week where they've got one game, and then again after that, and the week after they've got 6 games in 3 weeks again. So he's going to get minutes. So it's probably the best situation and the best club he can be at right now.
And he's got a decent lad up top with him if they're going to play that Esposito as well.
Yeah.
Sebastian Esposito.
Honestly, it's like a football manager player's wet dream, that is. Fabio Silva and Esposito.
I mean, you've been calling it for a while, Luke and Ed Marshall in the comments. He'll come back with his sleeve fully done, his hair chopped. As soon as he gets that haircut, with that bully cut, it's
Game
just
over.
goals,
Game over.
isn't it?
Game over. He's got the tattoos now. He's been bulking up in the gym. Honestly, somebody needs to send this to Fabio, because I'm telling you now, he gets a trim, go to Marky's Barbers, get a skin fade, and he'll come back a different man. And 30 goals guaranteed if he gets that skin fade off Marky.
Just to reiterate again, thanks for those who are joining us tonight live on the Wolves Fancast match preview. I'm doing what all the kids say. Just smash that like button in the bottom left-hand corner, subscribe, keep commenting so we've got a lot more to talk about. Let's jump back to the Premier League season. We're away to Leeds Saturday, 3 p.m. The Athletic, the world-famous Athletic, sent out their league predictions from their writers today. They've predicted Man City to win the league, Southampton, Fulham and Bournemouth to face the dreaded drop, and Wolves to finish in a measly 13th place. I'll come to you first, Eddie, with a simple question: who's winning the league, Man City or Liverpool?
I'm going to give it to Liverpool this year.
What's different? What stood out for you this summer to make you think that City are going to drop it?
Well, I think they've had a good summer. And obviously, the Community Shield. No, it's only one game. I mean, it's essentially a pre-season friendly. But Liverpool are up for it. They look good. Man City are trying to get 3 in a row, which I think only Ferguson's achieved in the Premier League era. It's not easy. And I think there will be it will be more competitive this year. Spurs, Arsenal, they have to be better than last year. I think United in 6th, I think, again, I mean, they've not had a great summer, but they have to be better than last year. So there will be teams taking points off the two of them. But yeah, I mean, I'm going a little bit with heart as well. I've got to say, I mean, if I had to pick one of the two, then I do prefer watching Liverpool than Man City.
I think that might be controversial for some. What's your opinion? Who do you like between the two? Forget about the title race for a minute, Jeff. Who's your preference between Man City and Liverpool?
City. I cannot stand Klopp. Something about him always rubs me up the wrong way. And I think me and Luke have spoke about this quite a little bit. That we're just literally, I think we're founding members of the Haaland fan club. I think so.
Yeah, we've got to be, mate. We've got to be.
He's going to be insane this season. He's an absolute
I'm still
animal.
chuckling about that comment on Twitter that compared Erling Haaland to Jar Jar Binks. I can't unsee it now. Jeff, I'll come to actually the question now, though.
Yep.
Man City or Liverpool, who's winning the title?
Oh, I think City have got it. I think Liverpool have done well. I think Darwin Núñez, despite some of his pre-season games, is going to be a really good player for him. But he's got some big shoes to fill with filling in Mane's position. So I just think maybe there's a bit too much transition there, whereas City have strengthened in the areas that they've covered really well in the past 2 seasons anyway.
What's your opinion, Luke? I know who you like between Man City and Liverpool, but who's winning the title?
Man City. I just think going forward now, the options have got it's just ridiculous. It's unfair. They've got Alvarez, Haaland, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden. Have I missed anyone out? Like it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Liverpool are good going forward as well, but I don't know. I just feel like Man City have just got that little bit more. I think if somebody gets injured for, I don't know, if Mahrez is out for 6 weeks, it hurts Man City less than if Firmino's out, or let's say a bigger player. If Salah's out, Liverpool would find it harder to replace Salah than Man City would to replace De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I mean, Dean Marsden's made the comment, which I think the whole football community agree with now, is that the new 5 subs rule helps Man City and Liverpool more than anyone else in the league, but Man City more than anyone. You talked about the sort of solutions that Man City have. If Man City is sort of struggling 60 minutes into a game and they've got 5 substitutes and you can just change 3 midfielders and 2 of your strikers, I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, what chance have the other clubs got of competing against these 2 juggernauts of a side? It's really unsavoury.
It's concerning that the gap between the top 4 and the other 16 is just going to grow and grow this season because of that rule. Because how are teams like Forest and Fulham and Bournemouth going to be able to get points off these top 4 teams when they could literally change half of their starting 11 pretty much.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So a quick look at the other end of the table. The Athletic predicted Southampton, Fulham and Bournemouth to face the dreaded drop this season. I'll come to you first again, Eddie. Who's your money on for the bottom 3 this season?
I mean, yeah, I think it's you're going to put those newly promoted teams down there, aren't you? It's interesting if they've picked Forest to avoid the drop. I know they've had quite a exciting window so far. All my mum's side of the family are all from Nottingham, so they're all Forest fans. So I'm hoping they stay up as well. I don't know. I think Brentford. I think they could be down there as well in the mix. I think they don't see them sort of replicating the form that they had last season. So I'm putting them in the bottom 3, probably with Fulham just doing their yo-yo again.
Seems to be quite a regular choice I'm finding across social media, Fulham. But are they really that sort of set? Do you think, Luke? Because I mean, obviously signing Palini is a decent signing. They've signed Burnley now this week. But it's all pretty much lays at the feet of Mitrovic again, doesn't he? If he can replicate half of his form to give him a fighting chance.
Yeah, I think obviously they're in a stronger position than when they was in the Premier League last time, because they was extremely strong last season in the Championship. I think Fulham will be okay. I think Bournemouth are going to go. I think Southampton might go, and I think we might have another situation this season like we had with Everton last season, a bit of a bigger club, and I think Leicester might get dragged into it. Leicester
seem to be in a big amount of trouble from my point of view at the moment. I was on a Newcastle podcast the other night and I was proper laying into the Leicester fan because they appear to be more skint than us at the moment. And if you hear some of the stories, their owners haven't really got a pot to piss in at the moment. Kasper Schmeichel, been captain for so many years, he's left to join Nice. Yuri Tielemans has been wanting out the door for a good 18 months now. Newcastle are pushing strong to sign Maddison. Apparently, Man United are linked for Jamie Vardy this week, but I think my hips are in better condition than Jamie Vardy, so it's a difficult situation. I'm not really sure where Leicester are going to end up because I know they haven't got Europe this season, but they just seem to have a bit of unrest. And I mean, apart from when the Arsenal job was available, Brendan Rodgers has been sort of trying to get out the door for a while now. So it's not. I wouldn't bet massively against it, Luke, with Everton. Where's your money, Jeffo?
I think just what a lot of stuff has already been said. Fulham, it all rests on Mitrovic again. Hopefully they get out of it. I think Forest will be a surprise package. I think they'll do quite well. So yeah, probably Bournemouth, Brentford, and I keep praying that Everton get relegated. I really do, because it shut them up so much.
Everton are one of my 3 to get relegated this season. I think losing Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been reported to be out for 6 weeks now due to a knee injury. And I know they signed James Tarkowski, but they're still really poor generally. Everton, I find. You look at the sort of their main sort of players that you look in that side now. Anthony Gordon, I think he had a decent season last season, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket, really, can you, for Anthony Gordon? Where's the goals coming from with Everton, Luke? Because I mean, they've still got Dele Alli, Alex Iwobi. I mean,
Thomas Gravison.
So, I mean, they're going to have to get Duncan Ferguson off the coaching staff on the pitch. The way it's going, they're really struggling for me. Everton really struggling. The pressure's already on Frank Lampard. I know they had a bit of momentum towards the end of the season. Obviously, the fans got back on side, but a couple of defeats in those first bunch of games. He's got to be odds-on favourite to be sacked first, Frank Lampard.
If they have a bad start in their first 6, it's going to be toxic up there, mate. The terrible Everton fans have. Absolutely terrible.
Some of the worst. They really are. And like you said, met the striker. DCL's injured as well, again. So
that's crazy that is.
And Richarlison's gone to Tottenham. They're in a worse position than us.
Everton, they've probably got some 15-year-old kid in the academy who's absolutely fucking mustard. And he'll end up with 28 goals next season.
Yeah.
Probably.
They're just lucky like that, man. They're so lucky.
Yeah.
But I know it's not lucky to create Wayne Rooney, but at the same time, I'm with Jafar, man. if Everton went down, I was praying for Everton to go down last season.
Yeah. So Everton was one of mine. I still think I think Forest and Bournemouth will be the other two. I know Forest have made a mass amount of signings, and signing Jesse Lingard on paper is a great signing, but I still don't think they've got a centre forward that's got enough goals in them to keep them safe this season. Defensively, they haven't really improved. I think Dean Henderson's got himself injured now. He's recently joined on loan, and I think we all just want Bournemouth to go down because they're just a really poxy club, aren't they?
100%. I want Bournemouth to be 20th from game week 1 to game week 38.
I mean, Jeff, I was laughing, but it's just how we all feel, isn't it?
Yeah, what's the point in them? Just get them, fuck them off to League One, man. Be done with it. Honestly, that's just literally who cares about Bournemouth.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Eddie. This is Luke. Yeah, I think we all have got a massive dislike for Bournemouth. They're literally Walsall on acid.
yeah.
They're like if Walsall got into the Premier League.
Well, no, they're like if Walsall just had a bigger brother. You know, it's like Walsall's big brother.
That's true.
Oh, so annoying.
Obviously, the Athletic predicted us to finish 13th this season. Where do you think we're going to be finishing roughly, Eddie?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that we've been talking about, Mitrovic and DCL and all these teams that are going to be struggling for goals, struggling for a proper centre forward. And here we are, a couple of days away from starting the season with Raul out. So, I can see why the Athletic put us in 13th based on the window that we've had and based on our form at the end of last season. But, I'm going to be an optimist, definitely top 10. I mean, it really depends how the next week goes if we pick anyone else up. But I'm hoping, 9th, 8th, something like that would be great.
I was on the Loaded Mad Newcastle YouTube channel on Wednesday night. If you ever have a minute to watch that. It was basically a Battleground Europe episode where they were talking. They had Wolves, Villa, Newcastle, West Ham, and Leicester, and those were the teams that the Newcastle fans were predicting were the most likely to break into the top 7 this season. I'll come to you with this question, Jeffo. Based on Wolves, Newcastle, and Villa, what's your sort of mindset? Do you think we can finish above either of those sides?
I think we could finish above Villa. Newcastle's going to be difficult. I mean, they have invested quite well, and they've got some very good players. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes is going to only go on from strength to strength. But Villa, I think what they've done, and I think taking the captaincy off Mings and giving it to McGinn, that could really, really backfire. I think that could cause a lot of trouble in the dressing room, akin to things that have happened down at Molineux in the past. When Johnson was given the captaincy.
It's a bold move, isn't it? Taking the captaincy off Mings, but in another sort of way, giving that responsibility to John McGinn could take his game on tenfold, couldn't it? I know he was linked to Man United last summer.
I mean, for sure, but that can go the other way as well. It could put a lot more pressure on him, and I think people have seen it and saying, "Oh, well, they've signed Coutinho. They've done this." Coutinho is a 1 in 4 good game player. He's very much a purple patch player, and he'll be good for 1 game, and then for 4 games or 3 or 4 games, he'll just be invisible. So
there isn't really much between him and Emi Buendia, is there really?
No, I'm yet to see whether they're going to do it. I mean, we'll see. For 5 or 6 games of the season, we'll actually get a feel for whether Villa are going to do. But at this moment in time, I think we could finish above them and Leicester. I think 9th to 10th is probably where we should be looking.
Jay Marnie in the comments says he guarantees we'll finish above Villa. He does not understand the loving that the Athletic have given Villa, predicting them to finish 9th. What's your opinion on that sort of prediction table, Eddie? Do you think Newcastle and Villa will finish that far ahead of us?
Well, I mean, like everyone's saying, really, it's a bit of an unknown with Newcastle and Villa to a degree. But I just think, I don't know, I'm just not sure about Steven Gerrard, really. I mean, he did a decent job at Rangers, didn't he? But he's not really done anything since he's been with them. I'm putting us ahead of Newcastle and Villa, to be honest. I'm thinking Palace are going to be ahead of both of them as well. I'm not sure why the Athletic have put them so low down. They're my dark horses to probably break into the top 8.
What's your opinion, Luke, in regards to, do you think we can finish up with Villa this season?
Yeah, quite. Yeah, quite comfortably as well. If we turn up, we are better than Villa, but
I mean, Martin W in the comments section, Luke, saying Villa have strikers.
Yeah, but they also have stinkers. You know what I mean? You look at some of their defending. John McGinn, skipper, he's always plays on the edge. Like he's a heated debate away from a red card. To me, he looks like a liability. I'd love to play against him.
And their strikers usually have stinkers as well, to be honest.
I mean, not Watkins, Ings. Who else have they got?
Cameron Archer.
Listen, he could be a problem.
Milosevic.
He could be a problem, Cameron Archer. And I've got to admit, Jacob Ramsey looks good for them. But again, they're just average. They're just average. Like, I won't go into a game against Villa and think, that they're going to do the double over us this season because they're that much better than us. We'll take 4 points off them. And
sorry,
I think the Athletic put in Villa 9th. It's just because Gerrard's the manager. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
If Gerrard wasn't the Villa manager, they'd have him in the same position as Leeds.
Eddie just mentioned that he's surprise, like dark horse this season is Crystal Palace. Who's your dark horse this season, Luke?
Do you know what? Right, I think Palace is a brilliant shout with some of the players they've got, but not so much a dark horse. But I think a team who might take people by surprise this season, and I'm going to get slaughtered for this, but I think Arsenal could be a problem. You know,
Signing Gabriel Jesus could be like the thing that they've been missing the most, isn't it?
I think they're a right back and maybe a centre mid away from really, because I mean, if everyone's raving about Tottenham, I don't think Tottenham are miles ahead of Arsenal, and I think a lot of people would probably expect Arsenal, apart from the Athletic, to be around 6th or 7th. But I don't know. I think Arsenal could cement 3rd. I think Man City and Liverpool, you just don't even count them. They're in a league on their own. But I think Arsenal could cement 3rd if Jesus clicks and, Saka and Martinelli as well. Got some really good players. So I might put them as dark horse.
I think the Athletic have done Man United real dirty on that one. I think I'm not the biggest Man United fan in the world, but I think they've made some very good signings. I think Ten Hag will do a great job there. He'll bring back the sort of like Man United style of old with the high intensity and high work rate. I think they it could be the Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United as a top 4. I think Chelsea have done quite well with Koulibaly, but some of the other signing avenues that they've gone with have been poor. And Tottenham, I think Perisic is a good signing, and they've made Richarlison's a good backup. But other than that, they capitulated in quite a lot of games last season. So I think Man United will be the surprise package. I think they'll be getting top 4.
Right, I'm going to ask one last question to the three of you before we go for our quick break. I'll come to you first, Luke. Who's getting the golden boot this season?
Haaland.
Jeffo?
Haaland.
Eddie?
Yeah, it's got to be Haaland.
Okay, I'm going to go different. I'm going to go Mohamed Salah again because he's just ridiculous. And I still think, and I'm going to be bold here, that I don't think Julian Alvarez is going to finish that far behind Erling Haaland this season.
Yeah, agree.
Because I think Julian Alvarez could easily be a Aguero Mark II. He looks exceptional when it comes to his finishing, right foot, left foot, header. I think he's an exceptional talent. I think if Haaland hadn't become available this summer, everyone would be talking about Julian Alvarez. I just think he's an exceptional talent. I wish there was some sort of South America's scouting system that we had in place to get him before these sort of clubs, because he's an absolutely ridiculous player. Right, we're going to go for a quick break now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk Leeds versus Wolves.
Hi, it's Richard from Wolves Fancast here. Just interrupting today's show before we get back to some questionable opinions and opinionated questions. Talk to you a little bit about our sponsors, Pixel Yeti Media. They are a design agency that put you and your business first, from web design, logo and branding design, and marketing. If you have any marketing needs, get in touch with them to find out how they can help you get it right. They are over at pixelyetimedia.com. Now let's get back to a show where we can give you some really forced wordplay, niche cultural references, and maybe even a bit of football talk.
Right, gentlemen, Saturday, 3 p.m. Leeds versus Wolves. Obviously, we're still a bit disappointed and hurt after that 3-2 defeat at Molyneux. The sending off against from Raul Jimenez really changed the game, didn't it? If you look at sort of the previous lineups for the two sides, they've both had decent pre-seasons. Leeds finished their pre-season with a 6-2 home victory against Cagliari. I watched the highlights earlier on in the week. Leeds did look a lot more dangerous than last season. Cagliari weren't great. They did concede some really sloppy goals at times, but they did also have the chance to make it 3-3 after being 3-0 down. Leeds have made some decent signings this summer. I think, is it Brett Aronson in midfield? He looks a bit decent. What have you made to their sort of summer, Jeffo?
Yeah, some decent signings in there. It's a big window and a big season for the new manager in there to really sort of stamp his style on. He came into the club under a bit of a cloud, to be honest. With everything that was going on at the club, they were sleepwalking into relegation. So he's done well to keep him up, and I think he'll do well this season. I think, like you say, Aronson's going to be a great signing, but it's how they evolve now and move, because they've lost Calvin Phillips, and they're going to go into it with a new formation, new style. I think they'll do well. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be comfortable. And I think the signings are very good.
I was surprised to see. Is that correct? Is that Helder Costa back on their bench?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he'd gone permanently to Valencia. It's a shame that he's gone back to Leeds. I think he's still a quality player that should be playing probably Conference League level. What's your sort of opinions on Leeds, Eddie?
Well, yeah. I mean, like we've been saying, they've had a big summer, haven't they? I mean, Rafinha gone, Phillips gone. It's all going to depend on, if you're Tyler Adams. I mean, Jesse Marsh has come and he's sort of brought in a couple of septics, hasn't he? Put his stamp on it, as you say, Jeffo. And it's whether Tyler Adams can fill, Calvin Phillips' boots. Is Aronson gonna push them on creatively, goals? I mean, they're going to be better than last season. I'm sure of it, especially if Bamford stays fit. But yeah, they've got more depth. They've had a pretty good summer. I think it's going to be a tough game.
That's key for them, isn't it? Keeping Patrick Bamford fit this season. Obviously, Rodrigo's another one that we'll have to try and keep quiet on Saturday, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Leeds opening day of the season. The crowd are going to be bouncing. They're going to make it hostile. It's going to be a good atmosphere. And I think last season, I think the crowd got that point for Leeds, to be fair, because there was intense, wasn't there?
Yeah, they drove Leeds on towards the end of that game, because we pretty much just sat deep and were just trying to do a classic Wolves and just stink the place there. But unfortunately, Joe Gellart caused us a lot of problems, won the penalty, and Rodrigo put it away. What did you make to the performance against Sporting, Luke?
The Wolves' performance? Well,
yes.
Yeah, it's, I didn't even watch the match. I haven't seen none of our pre-season matches. I've been working. I've literally been working, so I haven't even seen it. So I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Eddie, did you catch the Wolves Sporting match?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. It was a close game, wasn't it? It was good to see the interplay between Gibbs White, Neto, and Podence. I mean, that's probably going to be our starting 11 that you've got.
I don't think it's necessarily just that as well, though, Eddie. I think it's the combination with Gibbs White, Podence, and the fullbacks that stood out for me this pre-season.
Yeah, no, definitely, and obviously, I mean, Ait Nouri You can't say enough about the pre-season that he's had. But it's just going to be, are there going to be goals? How's Den Donker going to be coming forward? Is he going to be in that sort of false nine? Is he going to be getting in the box? And can Gibbs White sort of give us the kind of returns that he's been giving us in the pre-season, because he's looked good.
Is there anyone sort of in that bench there, Jeffo, maybe Hwang, Bolly, Cody, that could be pushing for a start against Leeds, or how we featured against Sporting in that lineup there? Is that how we're playing?
I think that's going to be the starting 11. The only one who could even possibly come in is Hwang. But yeah, I mean, I think talking about the Sporting game, I think we played really well in the first half. I think the second half kind of proved to what most Wolves fans know and how Wolves fans are feeling right now, that we haven't got enough depth and players there to change the game, because we kind of just petered out against it as we brought the subs on, as the likes of Bueno came on, Campbell. They've not played enough games at the highest level to really start to affect matches for us.
How did Campbell look?
He looked okay. He had some good touches, some good passes. But the thing is, he's like I say, he's not played enough league games yet.
Yeah,
he's another one who could probably benefit from being out on loan at a championship level club.
I'm still unsure on whether the championship would be too physical for Kem Campbell at the moment.
Yeah,
I think maybe another season in our under 23 is just just learning his craft a bit more, and then maybe going out for a loan like Corbiano did last season.
I think Connor Ronan could be somebody who's a bit of a surprise package this season. I think he's a talented footballer. I think he did really well in Scotland last year. Scored some cracking goals.
I think he's jumped ahead of Kundal this summer, hasn't he?
I think so. I think he's a lot more creative. And if we are going to play that 4-2-3-1 going forward, he is someone who could rotate with Gibbs White in that number 10 and say get some goals, get some assists, and hopefully push us far in some of the cup competitions as well. I'd like to see us go as far as we have in the FA Cup in recent years. That'd be really nice. It'd be something to get on the, be positive about.
I said earlier, thanks for those who have joined us tonight for the Fancast match preview. If you haven't already, just drop a like on the bottom left or drop us a comment. Give us stuff to talk about. Guys, I'm going to put you on the spot for the worst part of every show that I hate doing. Score prediction for Saturday. I'll come to you first, Eddie.
Should be putting us on the spot for a card prediction, really, based on Leeds' last season. I'm saying there's going to be goals. I'd love to see us. Oh man, I'm saying I'm going to be again optimistic. I'm saying 3-0 Wolves.
Yeah, honestly, I had the conversation on a Leeds podcast earlier on the week, the LS11 YouTube channel, and the guy did tongue-in-cheek say it could finish 9-8. And after some of the defending I saw in the Leeds Cagliari game and how much we've been creating chances this summer, I said it could easily finish 4-4. I predicted 2-1 Wolves, but what's your opinion, Luke?
1-1. 1-1. I'll take a point as well, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's of the same sort of mindset. You don't lose your first game, do you? I think that's one of my biggest concerns about Saturday is the fact that Leeds are at home with that new season bounce atmosphere. They're going to be right out, aren't they? What's your opinion, Saturday, Jeffo?
I'm in the same sort of camp as Luke. I think 2-2 is probably the result I'll probably go for. As you say, they're going to have the new season bounce. Ellen Road is always, they're excited and happy to hopefully see a good season. But I think we have got goals in us despite us not having a number 9. I think we create a lot of chances, and I think that the front three will do well. Against Calgary, they didn't look very solid at the back, Leeds. So fingers crossed. I mean, I hope for a win, but I think a draw is a good result to start your season.
I just really hope that predictions for Eddie isn't something he'll regret doing, because we'd all love a 3-0. But your first prediction show, you want to get your prediction right, don't you? Otherwise, you're doing me and just start predicting draws every time you're on, then just to try and not jinx Wolves.
Let's not forget that Calgary are a Serie B team.
Mm-hmm.
we've had it. There's been goals in our pre-season. You know, we've seen it. I think we can do it. I mean, 3-0 is, very optimistic, but let's go for it.
I mean, I've said Wolves 2-1 this week, and I've got a feeling Dendonker's going to get on the score sheet. I think he's been close a couple of times this pre-season, and I think with the chances that we'll be creating, and the fact that he's probably going to be the more advanced of our midfield three, I fancy him to bag one on Saturday. Be even brilliant for the lad if he bagged two and we won 2-1. But I don't want to be greedy. Just anyone can score Saturday as long as we win 2-1 or 1-0. As I said, I ain't greedy. Gents, before we jump on to Eddie's quiz to end the show, Vicky Wright got in touch with a fan cast earlier on in the week, and she's putting on a experience night at the Prince of Wales Theatre in Cannock on the Thursday, the 20th of October, discussing the captivating story of Billy Wright's life. There'll be historic footage from the matches, private family photos, and there'll be powerful contributions from football legends like Sir Bobby Robson, Kevin Keegan, David Beckham, and a load of other England people who have come across Billy Wright in the past, an absolute legend of the club. Hopefully, a lot of you can visit the night, as I said again, the Prince of Wales Theatre in Cannock, Thursday the 20th of October. The link for the box office will be on our website and social media pages, or you can ring the box office 01543 578 762. Gents, it's quiz round, and it's the man, Eddie, who's going to be providing the quiz questions tonight, as I said. Preview show back. Fancast quiz round, sponsored by Pixel Yeti Media. Eddie, take it away.
Sorry, Dan. I know you're usually the quiz master, but I'll put that hat on for tonight. So 5 questions, boys. We'll have 3 questions. Fastest fingers, I guess, the way to do it. And then there's going to be a couple of questions that are going to be a kind of round robin, where I want to go around you and see if you can see who's the first one to come up short. Right, question number 1, nice and easy. Start with an easy one. Wolves' current 22-23 away shirt, designed by Castor, was inspired by another famous away shirt design. But what year was that shirt?
97.
2001.
96, was it?
96. Jeffo takes it. 1 point to Jeffo. Well done.
Bonus. He's got the new shirt on. That's what gives him the advantage then. I knew it was 96, 97 that wore it, so I'm going to give myself half a point there.
Just don't take your zip down, Dan. That's all. He's got it on.
I've got the exact flipping top on as well. I've got the wrong gear.
This one was this is the 97 away. This one here, the Robbie Keane debut number. And bonus point. Last season, Castor chose the third kit. To have another inspired by design. Can anyone name the year that the third kit from last season was inspired by?
98.
2001?
2000.
Luke, stand up. You're wearing it.
Oh, this one.
Was it the white? Was it White Store?
That's it. Yeah. The scoreline.
Manda's painting.
Manda's 89. Yeah. Good one. Right. So far we got 1 point to Jeffo. Okay. Question number 2. The late 80s, 90s, early noughties saw Wolf shirt sponsors reflect then product-driven economy of this country, such as companies making paint, tyres and crisps, sponsors which I much prefer to our current betting or payday loan sponsors we've had in the past few years. Our longest-serving sponsor, of course, is
Goodyear.
Goodyear. But for how many seasons were they our kit sponsor?
8.
14.
Dan?
I'll
give it to the closest.
9.
Jeffo takes it again. It is 12. So another point. That's 2
Hold
points.
on, what did Jeffo say?
No, I said 8.
Oh, who said 14? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, Luke.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
Luke.
1 point for Luke. Sorry.
Points.
And,
I was going to take it as well then.
Beef.
Right. Question 3. Wolves' current badge, the famous wolf head, first designed in 1979, has been in our shirts in a hexagon for many years. But what was the first season that the wolf head was in the hexagon on our shirts?
Oh, that's a good one.
2009.
2012. I'll go 10 years.
I'll give it to the closest again. Luke?
2006.
Luke takes it. 2006. The answer is 2002. Admiral. Luke was again 2 points to Luke. Well done. Right. Now these next questions, we're going to start with Dan, then Luke, then Jeffo, and I want you to go round. And the first person to fail to produce an answer, I guess they'll maybe get a -1 point. I don't know if we'll do it that way. So this season, question 4, Castor created another shirt which many Wolves fans consider to be too yellow compared to the old gold, which fans fondly remember from the Umbro heyday, who made our shirts between 1970 and 1986. Since Umbro stopped making our shirts at the end of the 85-86 season, we've had a number of different shirt manufacturers. How many can you name? So if we start with Dan, then Luke, then Jeffo. Name one each. Right, Dan.
Bukta.
Luke.
Puma.
Jeffo.
Lecoq.
Dan.
Berda.
Luke.
Admiral.
Jeffo.
Adidas.
It's good. Dan.
Scoreline.
Luke.
Molyneux.
Yeah, I'll take it. Jeffo.
Puma.
Said he.
We had Puma, haven't we? Yeah.
Balls. Nah.
-1, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
That's it. Could have also had Spall.
WWFC.
Yeah, WWFC. We haven't named Nutmeg, of course.
Hold on, I need points here, Eddie.
No, it's a -1 round. -1 to Jeffo. Jeffo back on 0, I'm afraid. Luke's on 1. Dan on 0. Right, and another -1 round. I think we'll go with that.
Sorry, Eddie. Sorry to interrupt.
Tell me.
I'm on 2, mate.
Sorry, mate. 2. Sorry, Luke. Last question. So, the 99-2000 was the first season the Nationwide Football League introduced mandatory names and squad numbers on the back of shirts, standardising them across the Football League within their 3 tiers of English football. Now, as Steve Bull retired at the end of the 98-99 season, he never actually wore a Wolves shirt with a number 9 and Bull written on the top. Not for us, anyway, in his playing days. But how many, since Steve Bull retired, how many Wolves number 9s can we name? So we've got to name Wolves number 9 since Steve Bull has retired. I'm going to change it up this time. I'm going to start with Luke, and then Jeffo, and then Dan. Right, Luke, off you go.
Oh, man. I think I'll probably only name one. Ebanks Blake.
Roll.
Dan.
Havard Flow.
Good. Luke.
Jesus Christ, I'm struggling here. What did Afobe wear?
He didn't wear number 9, I'm afraid.
Okay, I won't say him then. I won't say him. Take the point off me. I'm struggling already.
-1 for Luke, but let's keep it going. Jeffo, can you name any more number 9s?
Frankowski, did he wear 9?
Not number 9, I'm afraid. No. Dan?
So basically, if I can name all the other 9s now, I can take the lead. Because these 2 are out. Right, so we've got Nathan Blake. We've got Leon Clark.
Good.
I'm going to go...
We're definitely in bonus point territory.
I'm going for a reckless one of...
Cedric Roussel, go for it.
I was going to go with Adam Lafond.
No, Alf, sadly, not number 9. But I'll give you a bonus point for that one, Dan. You could have also had some big names here. Tamori Ketspire, Adam Proudlock, Vio Gania, having to pronounce it, Carl Court, Andy Keogh, Lee Griffiths, Nuadiko, Rafa Mir, and they're the ones we didn't say. So
we give Rafa Mir number 9.
We did indeed, yeah. That's right. That was under Nuno's first season.
So
who give Adam Proudlock number 9?
Yeah, well, this is it. We thought he'd be the next big thing, didn't we? He was one of many strikers to wear the next bully tagline, but one of many strikers to not live up to that.
I mean, some of the number 9s that we just mentioned there, Nathan Blake, Adam Proudlock, Ketspire. What sort of, who of them sort of stands out for you, Luke? Leon Clark wore number 9.
You know what, right? he's living the dream. Just a lad from Wolverhampton, just knocking about the Molyneux wearing number 9. He's lived every lad's dream from our generation. Can't knock it.
There was a mad stat at one point that when Leon Clark scored for Wolves, we never lost, and it was over the 2 periods that he had in the Wolves shirt. It was a mad stat. I'm not sure how many games it was in total, but when he scored, we never lost. It's a bit like when Gabriel Jesus, every Premier League game that he scored in, he hasn't lost yet.
Mad.
Obviously, you mentioned Tamori Ketspire. Havard Flow was my one of my favourite number 9s that we just mentioned there. Anyone else stand out for you, Jeffo?
Oh, Ganea. I love Ganea. I can't remember who the goal was against, but when he dived into the North Bank after he scored that second goal, I can't remember what game it was now.
And it was Arsenal, wasn't it? We got beat 4-1.
It was already 4-0 down when he scored.
No, he equalised. No, I think he equalised, or it might have been 2-0 to us at the time. But I remember him jumping into the safe bank when he scored.
Yeah, I've just got the image of him jumping into the crowd and then him having a go at the referee when he got booked.
You also mentioned Eddie Lee Griffiths. One of my favourite moments watching Wolves was when Lee Griffiths scored against Coventry. I mean, it's an absolutely pathetic game to remember. But a Wolves fan ran on the pitch from the South Bank end because Coventry was in the bottom of the Steve Bull. And this Wolves fan was flicking the V's from corner flag to corner flag. It was an iconic moment that I'll never, ever forget. Any of those other number 9 stand out for you, Eddie?
Well, I mean, I like Nuadika, I've got to be honest. It's magic. But yeah, I mean, the sort of curse of him was when he took the number 9. I think his first number for us was 40. And that was when he was at his best, really, toiling away in League One. But yeah, as soon as he put that number 9 on and went to Championship, he couldn't really cut it. But yeah, a lot of love for the Dicko, Sacco, Afobe back in those days.
Massive love for Nua, previous guest of the show. Hopefully we can get him on again in the future because he was just really lovely guy on and off the camera. And on that note, obviously, on Sunday, we'll be back with our post-match review of hopefully Wolves' victory over Leeds. Thanks again for joining us tonight, commenting, liking, hopefully a few more subscribers tonight. And thanks for joining us. Wolves Fancast are part of the 90 Min Network. Follow us at Wolves Fancast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And I think we're on TikTok, but we haven't even done anything on there because we're middle-aged men with jobs and partners. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Middle-aged men.